Let me get that in while everybody wonders what's going on. Okay, I think we're good to go here. Welcome to our show here tonight. Welcome to Little Shop. I'm your host, Hanson. I am still recovering from this Thailand jet lag a little bit. Yesterday it was a 4-hour nap in the afternoon because of my poor sleep the night before, and today I've got that down to an hour and a half nap. So I'm not quite back 100%, but I'm getting there. This whole jet lag thing really hit me hard when I got back home. It didn't the transition over there did not seem anywhere near this bad, but getting back to normal here has really been difficult. So I wanted to get in here tonight, and we have actually a special guest here with us tonight. I wanted to get in here tonight. In fact, Daryl, I'm going to bring you up on a split screen.
Okay.
There we go. So,
Hello.
I wanted to introduce my friend Daryl McDaniel. A little background. So Daryl and I knew each other 26, 27 years ago down in Columbiana, Alabama. Daryl and I went to church together. We sat in the branch president's office together as counselors to our fearless leader, Scott Renault, who was our branch president at the time. And we also played basketball on, was that a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night? Who knows? But
Probably was a Wednesday.
but we played some pretty fearless basketball down there in Columbiana and other chapels around the area. So that's how I knew Daryl, and how I came across Daryl was we had really lost contact with each other. I think we were maybe Facebook friends, but it wasn't like we really had any interaction to speak of. But here 9 months ago, on July 21st, Daryl, as you know the story, I was watching your Facebook Live where you were sharing your experience with this Unicity Feel Great protocol. And in fact, you were calling it a protocol. Never heard that term used in conjunction with any type of food or any type of program before. So that word alone was interesting to me. But that's exactly what it is. It's a protocol. And I listened to you share your experience, and I decided uh, to give it a try, and it has changed and transformed my life, and I feel so grateful for that. It was interesting to watch you there on the 23rd, I think, or on the 21st of July. You were much like I was when I first started doing these Facebook Lives. You you were obviously not very polished. You were somewhat uncomfortable. It was obvious to me that this was not really something that you were enjoying, but you were out here doing it because I could feel the honesty and the integrity coming across in your message. And I thought, gosh, if Daryl is feeling that strongly about this, that he's willing to get out here and be this uncomfortable, he must have something worthwhile to share. And I took that from that and decided to give it a try. And it has been the most amazing physical thing I've ever experienced. And I'm so glad that I did. But I wanted to bring Daryl on here tonight and let him share his experience and what led him down this path of using the Unicity Feel Great system and the impact that has had on his life and his family's life. So please, Daryl, go ahead.
Well, Steve, number one, thanks for thank you for giving me the opportunity to share uh, my story. And it began in 2014. It was April 28th. We're almost on the 12-year mark here next week. My wife and I had gone down and visited some friends of ours. There was some tornadic weather coming in from Mississippi, and the family in the neighborhood, her husband was actually out of town on business, so we just went down to just check on her and the kids, make sure they were okay, and we came back home after about an hour visit. Everything was good. We come home, Annie jumps in the shower, and I'm kind of tired, so I sit in a chair. in our living room. We had just moved into this house and 2 weeks previous. I sit down and um, I don't know how long it was, 5 minutes maybe. And when I woke up, my whole world was completely changed, and the room was spinning completely. My eyes were darting back and forth. I tried with every ounce of energy I had to stand up, and I couldn't do it. I was going to just muscle my way through, and sweat was dropping off of my face. I could see it hitting my pants, but I couldn't stand up, and I knew something serious was going on. I yelled for Annie, and she came and took me to the hospital. And after a couple of misdiagnoses, after for a few days there, finally Thursday morning they found it. I had had a stroke, a cerebellar stroke. So this happened on Monday night. They found it on Thursday morning. Life flighted me to another hospital, and there I had what's called a burr. They drilled a hole in my head to drain the fluid. Um, and that began really my struggle with my health. And over the next several years, I've been on the protocol since October of 24, so 11, 10 and a half, 11 years. Um, I couldn't get a grip on my health. I had all kinds of medications, 6 or 7 different ones throughout that time period, and it just never would. Things just wouldn't level out. So in October of 2024, I went to the doctor, and the next day they called me, and it was a situation where they wanted me to um, start another prescription, and that would have been a shot, the Wegovy shot. And I wasn't willing to do that. I'd heard about this protocol, and I had a serious conversation with Annie, and we're going to start this. So that started probably the first part of November, and so my A1C at that point in October was an 8.3, and I was about 220, 222, somewhere in that range with my weight. And by beginning of January, I'd lost a little over 10 pounds, and my A1C was down to a 6. I kept going another 3 months. I lost another 10 pounds, and my A1C was down to a 5.5. I kept going, and I lost more pounds, and I'm down to the low 190s now, and my A1C is at a 5.3. I have gotten rid of several of my medications. I still have 2, and but I'm feeling great. So that was my battle with my health that this protocol has helped me with. That makes sense? I think so.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Hey, I unplugged my external mic because I think when I plugged it in halfway through, oh, there's still some echo there. I'm not sure
I don't
why.
have any on my end. Is it my?
I'm not sure why we're getting echo.
Maybe if does that help any?
Let's see. Yeah, yeah, that seemed to make it go away.
I turned my mic down.
Huh. Maybe there's still a little bit. I'm not sure. But yeah, Dale, thank you for sharing that. I jumped in here and started using this program really based on what you shared that night, without really understanding the science behind what I was doing or what this was going to do for me. I just knew that you had shared that this had really helped you with your intermittent fasting, or you talked about intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting is something I started about a decade ago, before I was even familiar with the word intermittent fasting. I had just kind of evaluated my own eating habits, and I realized, okay, when I do really good for breakfast, because I typically eat either whole grain cereal or an oatmeal and fresh fruit for breakfast. So I felt like, I was starting with a lot of good fiber and good food. lunch varied a lot depending on if I was out on a job site or if I was home in my home office working that day or whatever. Lunch would vary a lot, but regardless of whether it was a fast food lunch or something healthier at home, it was still a reasonable size, moderate meal. I wasn't, overeating typically at lunchtime. It was really the evening hours that I could see that I was really blowing things up. Like I would get home after working hard on a job site all day, and I would just essentially eat everything that I could come across because I was just so calorie deficient, or at least it felt that way. I would have whatever I wanted for dinner and whatever amount that I wanted. And then there would always be a snack before I went to bed, ice cream, nachos, something to just, send me off to bed. And then a lot of times I wouldn't sleep as well as I would like to because I was going to bed with a gut full of food. But I would wake up the next morning and I would hit that oatmeal and fresh fruit, and I would feel like I was off to a good start again. Um, the problem with that program is that I was gaining weight. It was something very slow. It was only like 5 to 7 pounds a year, which almost seems meaningless. But but when you do that for about 8 years in a row, all of a sudden you've got a real problem on your hands. And that's where I had gotten to. In fact, let me pull up. Let's see what happens if I click this button. Oh, look at that. So this was me last June at the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee with my family. Uh, I hate this picture. Like I feel like I look so awful in that picture there. But that was me 9 months ago, 10 months ago, and yeah, 9 months ago. And I weighed more than I ever had. I felt miserable. My clothes were getting to the point where it's like, okay, am I going to have to give up on these 38-inch waist pants and move up to something that says 40, which just seemed insane for me because I'm a guy who, graduated from high school with a 32-inch waist at best. And I was able to maintain that for a number of years. And finally, I had to move to a 34. And then, here comes the 36. So seeing that 40 creep up, Daryl, like that was going to be a big deal to move to that 40. And I was dreading that idea. So this was a pretty unhappy Steve here on the left-hand side when I came across this protocol. But it only come on like 5 to 7 pounds a year. But I could not figure out how to get this turned around. But I would try intermittent fasting at times, and if it was wintertime or whatever, and things were slower, I could really focus on myself. Then I could have some success with intermittent fasting, but it was just a lot of work. It was the echo is still out there for some reason. Would you mute yourself for a moment, Daryl? Let's just see if that, and then we can unmute you when that. I think that does help. That was it. Are you muted now, Daryl?
So I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Huh. I'm not, but I think everybody else probably can. I'm not sure what's going on there. I could still hear you, even though you couldn't hear me.
Oh, really? Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
Okay. Well, it seems to have gone away for right now. But I would do intermittent fasting sometimes, and I remember one winter I did lose like 15 to 20 pounds intermittent fasting, but it had been a lot of effort and a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice to make that change. But then when life got busy again, that weight drifted right back on, and it was so, to put that much effort into it and to see it come back on so easily, that was so frustrating and so defeating. And so I knew intermittent fasting could work, but how do you do it, on an ongoing basis? So when you talked about your intermittent fasting and how this program had helped you with that, I decided, hey, why don't I give this a try? And I made that decision, and I started it 2 days later when the products arrived, and it was amazing how reasonable, and I want to say even easy, it went to start fasting from what used to be difficult for me to do 15 or 16 hours on a regular basis. All of a sudden I was doing 18, 19, 20 hours a day. And I was able to do that just on a consistent basis in a way that I never had before. And I was so amazed with how that felt, but also the results I was getting. I mean, I lost 10 pounds in 13 days, and I went on to lose a total of 40 pounds in less than 4 months. Now, one of the things that's happened here over the last 4 months is I haven't lost really any weight since November. I pretty much stabilized right around 180, 175. It's gone up a little bit sometimes, it's gone down a little bit, but stayed right in that range. But one of the things I've noticed, Daryl, is my gut health has improved to a degree that I have never experienced in my life. And my gut has never been so calm and so peaceful and I would say so healthy. And that shows up in a number of ways, but it shows up in the fact that I get up in the morning and when I don't have jet lag, I get up in the morning and I just feel good. And a lot of mornings I just feel great. And I've never had that experience of just feeling good and even great on a consistent basis like that. And I can feel that coming from my gut. And I've learned a lot of things that if I had paid more attention in health class, or maybe if I had taken some additional health classes, I've learned a lot of things that I never knew before I had exposure to. And one of them is this slide right here. Now here's you and me again, looking good. Let me click on this here and see if we can enlarge this. Okay, so one of the things I learned is that 90% of our serotonin, now serotonin hormone, is that what that is? Is that what we call that?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
believe
what is
serotonin is a.
is that considered a hormone? But it's your, yeah, I think that's right. So it's your feel good hormone, and 90% of that is produced in your gut, and the other 10% of that is produced in your cerebral, brain system or whatever. And that is a hormone that has a lot to do with how you feel. And and so if your gut is not healthy and your gut is responsible for producing that hormone that tells you that you feel good and can deal with life, then you're in a bad place. And I think, well, I don't think, I know that I've spent the majority of my life dealing with this in a very mild and moderate way, not in any significant way. But I'm someone who has dealt with seasonal depression. And again, just mild, not anything really heavy. I never went and got any medication. I didn't go get any counseling. It was never anything like that, but it was affecting me. And at times it was more, and at times it was less, and at times it seemed maybe even non-existent. But as I've gotten older, I've noticed it more and more. And I thought, this is just life. This is just mortality. It's just tough, and you just got to sometimes tough it out and try to eat better and exercise more. And playing a couple hours of basketball at the rec center, and always come home from that feeling good. But that feeling would wear off after a period of time. But I've never had a system that just felt good. And what I've learned here is that this protocol that you and I are on is so much about gut health and about metabolic health. And as I've learned that, this has all made so much sense to me because it's exactly what I'm experiencing. I'm experiencing just having a really healthy, happy gut. And when you have a healthy, happy gut, things like weight loss become relatively easy to accomplish. Um, I'm going to pause for a moment, Daryl, and just let you. Do you have anything you want to throw in here and say in line with kind of what I'm sharing here?
Well, I know, Steve, that the gut is so important. The health of the gut is so important to how our brain functions. And this is very apropos, and part of the protocol that actually does significant work with the gut is fiber, and our fiber matrix that we use within this particular protocol. And it's 7 different fibers, has 4 different patents, and it's all natural, and it's amazing at healing the gut.
Yeah, I'll just bring this slide up here. Let's see if I can enlarge that at all. I guess not. I'm not sure how good, but this talks about the balance. It talks about all the different type of fibers that are involved here. This is a proprietary patented product that has a ton of science and research behind it but as you shared, it's also been tested and approved by a number of university studies, including the University of Sydney, Australia, which is some type of metabolic world-class research center or something. So this is the Unicity Balance product that is very much responsible for improving your gut health. And wow, have I experienced this over the last 9 months. It has been so amazing. And as you and I were talking before this live started, when I first started losing weight and having this experience, I thought, okay, when I get down to the weight that I want to be, which I'm still not there yet, but when I get down there, what am I going to do with this program? Is there going to be any reason to stay on this, or will maybe I'll just do it every other day, or maybe just once or twice a week, or maybe I'll just get off the program. Then if I start gaining a few pounds, maybe I would jump on it for a week. That was kind of my thinking of, what's the end game here? And people would ask me that question too. They'd be like, what do you do after you've done losing the weight? I can tell you that based on what I now understand and what I experienced by using this balanced product, I can't imagine any reason why I would ever want to get off of this. Like, this has blessed my life so much, and it's so cheap. I mean, this stick here cost $1.75. What would you pay to feel good every day? And this more than makes up for food that I don't eat because of this blessing my life. So what an amazing product and what an amazing impact. And this is all natural. Like, they've created this all natural blend of these plant fibers that just have this amazing impact. And I feel so blessed by this. Um, and then let's bring up the other cut sheet here of the Unamate. And let me just pause for a sec again and let you talk about this for a moment. Why do you like the Unamate, and what benefit do you feel like you get from that?
The main benefit that I get from this particular product is the quieting of food noise. Being able to get up in the morning. So I get up, between 5 and 5:30, and I drive about an hour, hour and a half to work, depending on traffic.
And where do you work?
And
Just for those who don't know Daryl very well.
I work at the University of Alabama, and
University of Alabama. Yeah.
yes, on
So,
campus. I'm there every day, so except Saturday and Sunday.
and you're part of the football program, or what's your calling there?
No, I'm a network engineer, so
Okay.
I,
All right.
I get to work on the network and work
Yeah.
on switches and fun stuff like that. So, but prior to actually starting this protocol, and specifically the Unamate, getting up that early and driving an hour and a half, I usually had two stops. There was a gas station that I would probably get a soda and a thing of donuts, and then in Centerville there's a McDonald's that I would usually stop at and get one of their breakfasts.
Hmm.
And if I passed that, then there was a Chick-fil-A in Tuscaloosa that I would stop at. I would always stop for breakfast someplace. This, I can leave the house and sip on it, and I don't even think about those other foods out there. It quiets it all down, allows me to go all the way to lunch without thinking about or even craving sweets and other food items. That is what has really helped me to lose a lot of weight and bring my A1C into order where it should be. Right down the middle in the low fives. That is the big one on there. I'm trying to see if there are other great benefits with this particular product. It does have a natural caffeine, which helps with energy. It's not your soda type caffeine. It's not the synthetics. This raises your own individual GLP-1, which we all have GLP-1 in our gut. It's there. It's a hormone that is stimulated by glucose when we eat. And if we eat bad, it doesn't stimulate very well. It doesn't come up. This product brings it up and it raises it by over 70 or up to 70%. And that's the benefit. That's the quieting of the food noise, allowing you to skip the bad meals and the bad food and to make it to lunch. That way you could take your fiber prior to lunch, and that allows you to eat a good healthy lunch and be full and get the health benefits from that. The 1-2 punch there is amazing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's exactly how I experienced the Unamate too, is whenever I'm trying to complete my fast, or whenever I feel like I need, when I'm hungry, but I know I really don't want to eat, I just drink some Unamate. I feel that natural boost of my natural GLP-1. I feel that boost, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm okay. I'm totally fine. I don't need to eat. I can wait until I'm supposed to eat. And I've eliminated, pretty much, I don't want to say 100%, but I pretty much eliminated snacking from my diet. Now, it was kind of funny. I posted this on Facebook. I was on the plane. They're coming home, and they give you a snack and a drink, and I'm in there reading Dr. Fung's book, and I'm in the chapter about snacking and how excess snacking is destroying our American diet, and I'm sitting down there looking at this snack that I'm eating. So we all have our slip ups or mess ups or whatever, but yes, this product has eliminated snacking from my life, and what a huge thing that is. One of the things that we've learned as a part of this, Daryl, is that every time we eat, and especially when we're eating our refined sugars and our refined carbohydrates, we are spiking our glucose, and along with that, spiking our insulin. And that's what ultimately creates insulin sensitivity, is because we've got insulin spiked in our system too much because of constant eating. And when we reduce that to where we're just eating, maybe 2 meals a day and not snacking in between, we limit those glucose spikes by using our fiber correctly, and we keep insulin low. Now, instead of our bodies creating insulin resistance, they create insulin sensitivity.
sensitivity.
And when we are insulin sensitive, our bodies will start to heal in amazing ways. And I think I've experienced a lot of that, and I know you have too. So that is the amazing benefits of the Feel Great system, and why it's more than just an intermittent fasting program. These are two nutraceuticals that have a ton of research and a ton of lab work behind them to benefit your health and allow you to do the type of fasting that will not only help you to lose weight. Maybe you're someone who doesn't need to lose weight, but you need to improve your health. These products will do that. This protocol will do that. And so I feel so blessed to come across this. I wasn't as prepared for this presentation tonight as I wanted to be, because of this jet lag thing that I'm still dealing with. But we will be on here. I mean, I'm on here every night talking about different things, but we will come on here again. And I've had the blessing of being able to share this program now with others. And I've been able to help a number of people in similar ways that I have been helped. And I'm going to bring some of them on in the future here too, and let them kind of start to share their experience and what is happening in their life. So I could not have imagined a year ago the change that would come into my life this past year. And Daryl, it all started when you got on there and shared this information on live. And so I feel so thankful that you were brave enough to get out there and do that. And if this half-hour session that we did here tonight reaches out and impacts one person and causes them to say, you know what, I think I might want to learn more about this. I think I might want to give this a try. Then this has been, I know you would feel this way too. This has been time well invested. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
anything you want to add before we wrap up and call it a night here? I know you need to get to bed so you can get back out to Tuscaloosa tomorrow.
Yeah. And I actually have to get there early tomorrow morning. So,
Okay.
no, I appreciate everything that you said, Steve. That's wonderful, and I'm grateful that you've taken a hold of the protocol and it's changed your life, and you feel the benefits of it, um, physically, and maybe in some respects even spiritually, and that your life has changed, and you feel um, um, you have the desire to share this with your friends, your family, and you, because you know what it can do, you
Mm.
know it can save their lives. I know my life has been saved, and I'm pretty sure what you're telling us is that you feel that your life has been saved too. And this protocol does that. It's inexpensive, it's all natural, and it allows um, just good, healthy healing to take place. This body that we've been blessed with is absolutely amazing. It wants to heal itself, and these products help us help it to get in shape and to take care of us so that we could have um, um, a long, fruitful uh, existence here on planet Earth. So I'm
Yeah.
grateful, Steve. Thank you for allowing me to come on and share my story, and even humbled a little bit that my story touched you, sparked something in you that you knew and understood prior to me talking about it, um, and wanted to experience more of it. So thank you. I appreciate you sharing that with me and sharing it with your
Yeah.
family and friends.
Well, this guy on the left here, he was likely pre-diabetic, although I didn't know that. But I can tell you that this guy on the left here was probably going to die a decade earlier than the guy on the right.
Yeah.
And this guy on the left, had he stayed like that, was living a fairly miserable life and fairly unhappy, not energetic, not somebody who wanted to do anything more than what he had to do every day. And this guy on the right is a totally different, living in a totally different world. So what a huge impact that this can have, that had in my life and can have in anybody's life who wants to take a serious look and make a reasonable effort. So with that, we'll thank anyone who joined us here or catches us on a replay. I will be on tomorrow night. It will be Thursday, so it'll be Throwback Thursday. We'll be talking about some wonderful story from the past. And Daryl, we'll get you on again here at some point. Maybe, we'll give you a couple weeks off, but we'll have you on, and maybe we'll take a deeper dive into the science and talk about the graphs and some things like that. So,
Okay.
all right.
Well,
Well,
Steve,
hey,
I don't know if you know this, but you do have a chat down the side there, and it looks like Cheryl has come on and chatted a little bit, and my sweet wife Annie has been there.
I can see that. So I've got a screen right above me here, and I can see, I'm looking at Facebook, and I can see some comments flowing in here. But
Okay, cool.
I have a hard time talking and thinking and keeping track of comments all at the same time. I'm still getting used to all this technology here, Daryl, but it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm just a farm kid, Daryl. I'm supposed to be out milking the cows, and what the heck I'm doing on a Facebook Live, like I don't even know. But here we are. So,
Here we are.
hey, everybody, have a great night. You get some good rest, Daryl, and we will catch up with everybody next time.